All right, grown-ups, it's just our time. I love the babies, but to help you, I gotta speak my mind. This segment's here to help you grow with book reviews, lessons, and things you'll be glad to know. If your little one's restless or looking to play, send them to my other playlist. The read-alouds there will brighten their day. Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to the Teacher Lady Show. I'm Miss Erica, the Teacher Lady, your fairy godparent when it comes to sharing joyful stories and growing young minds. Now, today's segment is our Behind the Book review on The Proudest Blue by Ibtihad Muhammad. If you have not done so, be sure to go check out the Read Aloud first and then come right back here in this segment of Behind the Book where we go beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. In today's review, I will be going over the glows, what I think was done well, the grows, what I think could have been done differently, who this book is for, how to utilize it as a resource to have more robust conversations with your little one, and more, all in this segment of Behind the Book, where we go, that's right, beyond the pages to get to the heart of the story. You ready? Let's grow. Summary in my own words. The Proudest Blue is the story of two sisters who share their identity with their school. One goes to school with a hijab and the other one cannot wait till it's her turn to be able to rock it. Throughout the story, you see gentle reminders of what it means to really love your identity and even what it means to combat those who tell you that you do not belong because of how different you are. Overall, it is a feel-good story and a reminder that we are unique, that our cultural identity belongs to us, and that we deserve to be seen regardless of who likes it. Take home message and target age group. For me, the take home message is truly that you get to represent yourself. Throughout the story, you see Asiya wearing her blue hijab and you see her sister Faiza so excited about her wearing her hijab in school. You see different examples of children being confused and Faiza being like, that's just too bad. This is who we are. There was a lot of pride around cultural identity in this story in relation to their hijabs. And so I believe that the take home message is be who you are culturally with pride, even when other people do not like it. In regards to target age group, I would say that this is a good bet for children 4 years old and up. It really is a feel-good, warm story and reminder that you should be seen, that you don't have to whisper, that you don't have to suppress yourself, that you don't have to hide yourself because other people don't understand you. I love the gentle reflections and corrections when people are referring to her hijab as a tablecloth or as something else that's disrespectful or mean or rude, and just this overall pride. And so young children will definitely start to understand the importance of cultural identity, the importance of differences, the importance of self-love and self-pride, even the importance of sibling love and connection, because throughout this story, they both go to the same school, but they're different ages and they keep coming back to each other. And so when one sister might be having a challenging time, she really does connect with her other one to be able to get through it. So many messages. Definitely can go young with this one. And just overall, it's a story that should be on your shelf. Who this book is for? First off, definitely representation. If your family wears hijabs, get the book. It is so important to normalize your cultural identity to your children. And so if there is something that stands out about your culture, which of course there is, that's what culture is, you find books that represent that. And I believe the author did an amazing job of representing her culture throughout this story and throughout this book. So if your family wears a hijab, definitely get the book. The other is if your child is unfamiliar with people who wear hijabs, it is a way to normalize people who are different from them, right? And so if your child has asked questions around, people who wear their head covered, or sometimes children have made comments that are rude, like the book points out, This is a good resource to be able to combat some of those things. And just overall, you want to normalize cultural differences. If you want a child to be sensitive to others, to be respectful to the communities around them and the cultures that are around them, you are going to have to normalize what they see as different, because this is her norm. So this isn't different for her, but it might be different for your child because they're not as familiar. Get this book. It will help you to be able to normalize that. Glows. This is an easy one. For one, the glow is really standing up and self-advocating for her sister and for her sister wearing a hijab. I love that the main character of the story combats the nasty things that are being said around her sister wearing her hijab. I love that. I love that she's excited to put hers on. Like, I can't wait to rock it. And I'm going to have the same color as my sister. I really, really love how much she loves who she is. That is probably my biggest glow for this book. There is so much pride for such a young character in who she is and just this aspiration to be just like her older sister. And I love that. The other glow were some of the comments that came from the mom, just really shining light on the fact that other people might have something to say. That has nothing to do with you. There is a part in this book where the mom says, give those people back their words. The mean words that are said to you, give them back. They're not yours. You don't have to hang on to them. Give them back. And I think that we all need that reminder because we're human. And the truth of the matter is, words do hurt. You know, there's this saying, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. And I've always found that saying to be false. After over a decade in the education system, words are extremely hurtful. So to have this reminder that I understand that they might hurt, but they're not yours. You don't have to hold them. They don't have to become your truth. You don't have to change who you are because somebody has made that hurtful comment. I love that. And along those same lines, there are a few different strategies that are taken when it comes to Fiza in the story. One of the strategies is she draws a picture of her family and her sister with the hijab, which really normalizes who her family is. Another strategy is when the kid is laughing at her, she walks away. And then another strategy is she does respond. You know, at one point, a little girl, out of curiosity more than meanness, she whispers like, hey, what is that on your sister's head? And she don't understand why we whispering because, baby, it's a hijab. And I love that. I love how much pride this little girl has in who she is. That is amazing to me. And then the last glow would have to be the pictures. The pictures so clearly illustrate the power of the hijab. There is a photo spread of the hijab being almost like this ocean, this super strong and powerful entity when it comes to Asiya. And the visual of the story just really brings it all together. And I absolutely love that for the reader. I love it for myself. Okay. Grows, or what I think could have been done differently. This is an easy one. I don't have any. There are no grows. I believe the author came to do what she wanted to do, which was share what is a huge part of her cultural identity. I really love, see, this ain't even a grow. I really love that in the back of the book, she shows her sisters, which were the two characters from the story. And just overall, it is definitely a book that I recommend. No grows today. I always say if there isn't a problem, I'm not going to go find one. So we will move on. How to utilize this book to have a more robust discussion with your child. This really depends on why you pick this book up. If wearing hijabs is part of your family's cultural norms, then I would just have a discussion around how your child feels wearing their hijab. How do they combat some of the things that are being said, and really reiterate the pride and the excitement of how special it is to be able to wear something so close to home, of how unique your family is. That is kind of the discussion I would go if you are a family that picked up this book because you are also part of that cultural identity. If you're a family that picked up this book because it is not normal in your family to wear hijabs, then I would have conversations around what it means to respect other people's cultural identity, and what are some ways that in your own culture you combat mean things that are said, and how do you go about that? And so really page by page, you can read the page and have a discussion around it. You can have discussions around bullying, around being mean. You can have discussions around pride and self-esteem and what it means to love yourself despite other people not seeing your beauty. And you can even have discussions around your cultural identity and what is normal in your family and what would be the equivalent for you and your family to a hijab. It can be something like when you come home, maybe you don't wear shoes throughout your house. Maybe when you pray, you believe in ancestors, or maybe there's a different religion. Maybe there's something physical that is worn. Maybe it's a jade necklace, or so on and so forth. Whatever cultural elements, physical cultural elements that you have within your family, bring that out and really utilize it as this comparison between the hijab. So again, children can find pride in their own cultural identity. This entire week, we are trying to get children to be excited about who they are. Because in all honesty, any child that is not within the norm, and that norm keeps changing, they're facing hardships and bullying and a lot of name calling today. Every child's hijab, no hijab, black, white, brown, in between. There is a lot of self-hatred that is happening. And the only way to combat that is pride. You teach your children to love themselves, to honor culture, honor their religion, honor their self-esteem, honor who they are, even when other people don't like it. And so again, this book, beautiful resource to be able to do so. Final thoughts. My final thoughts are that clearly I am a fan. I support a school with a lot of students who have Arabic background, Egyptian background, a lot of students who wear hijabs, a lot of students who have to stop and pray. And I believe anytime that we can start to normalize who they are and celebrate who they are, like forget normalcy. What is normal, right? But really celebrate who they are. It is something special. And so when I saw this book, given such a large part of my student population, I was so excited. And I'm so excited to be able to share it with my audience and with you all, because it really is an important reminder to love yourself even when the world turns against you. And I'm going to keep saying that because it's true. I remember 9/11. I remember how hard it was to have your head covered after 9/11, before 9/11, but even worse. I am in schools now where children are getting made fun of and teased, and parents are uncertain and unsure and uncomfortable, and the list continues. So you need resources. You need excellent books. You need beautiful movies. You need storytelling. You need representation so that your child does not lose themselves in a world that is working overtime to convince them that they are not enough. So those are my final thoughts. Thank you for reading with me, for growing with me, for being part of this book-loving community. On Friday, we have the Teacher Lady Speaks, where I take all the resources I can in that 40-minute or so segment and give them to you to help you raise a child that is proud of their cultural identity and who they are. Until next time, remember to enjoy the moment, or go be a joy in the moment. Bye.